Late night on day one here in Grand Chute, Wisconsin, home of the Division III Baseball World Series. We're wrapping up day one here from Grand Chute. I'm Pat Coleman. Jim Dixon joining me for D3Baseball.com, and in a day in a new tournament, two pools of 4 teams with a double elimination bracket, and the winners that come out of that, each of those brackets will meet for the championship in a 3-game series later this week, or technically even next week. We got it started today with 4 first-round games, and Jim and I will take you through those. So if you haven't joined us before, welcome, and welcome to D3Baseball.com, especially for folks from Ramapo who are making their first trip to the Division III World Series since a long time ago, sometime in the 1980s, right?
1984, when they came in and won a championship.
I think of 1984 for something completely different in terms of baseball. I was 12, and that'll tell you, obviously, not a lot of those guys were alive, obviously, when they got here. And Ramapo falls to Frostburg State in the opener 3-1. Jim, in this game, Frostburg jumps out early. Ramapo comes back and answers, and then in the 3rd inning, they leave a run on the table.
And that was very important because if the double goes through and it's not a ground rule double, the run scores and it's a completely different ball game. Having Frostburg keep that run off the board was very big for them, and I think it was the thing that gave them a boost.
Joe Venturino gets stranded on 3rd. He never does come around to score. Frostburg finally comes back and scratches out a pair of runs in the bottom of the 6th. And, Jim, Walker Larson pitched a great game, but his defense kind of let him down, especially in that inning.
It really did. They allowed a couple runners to get on base by errors, and then Zach Keeler came up looking for a pitch to the outside and found it and put it into play and drove in 2 runs.
Yep, 2-run single for Zach Keeler. Greg Schneider gets the win. He improves to 9-1. He went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, 1 run, walked 3, struck out 4. Nick Huff came on through the final 2 innings for save number 5. Walker Larson, we mentioned he had a fine day. 8 innings pitched, 9 hits, 3 runs, but only 1 of them earned. He took the loss, and they fall to 10-3. We'll get you the other half of Pool A a little bit later. We're going to switch over to Pool B, and yeah, that's what the NCAA calls them. If you're a bracketologist and all this Pool A and Pool B stuff is confusing, I'm sorry. I would prefer to call them Bracket 1 and Bracket 2. But we're going to talk about Bracket 2 for a second. One of the big games of the day, obviously, Emory coming back. They rallied with 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th and put a couple of more runs on the board over the course of the next couple of innings, and then had to hold on to defeat Trinity 9-7. For Emory, obviously, this is getting off on a different foot for them.
Indeed it is. Emory has never won their opening game here at the Division III World Series, and for the first time in 5 trips, they're coming out the first day as a winner.
It was Jackson Weig. He was cruising, went 8 innings, gave up 3 runs, and then they brought in Kyle Monk for some work, and Jim, apparently that's what they want to do. I would say that if a guy gives up 4 runs as the closer in the 9th inning in a non-save situation, it's not a good thing, but you think it might be.
It really was what the coach wanted. His closer works better with a little bit of work, being a little more tired, and his closer is rested because Emory has not played for over a week. So the coach wanted to get him in, get an inning worth of work, and he certainly got the amount of work.
Emory won the South Regional, which is a 6-team regional. Obviously, those are a little bit shorter. You have to win. You don't have to win as many games to get out of them, especially if you start off with a win. But they did start off with a win here. Ben Visveri with another big day, a big pinch hit for him.
Yes, he came up with bases loaded, got a pinch hit single, and drove in 3. And that was the winning hit, and that really was the difference because Trinity never really recovered after that.
So Jackson Lee get the win. He improves to 12-1. Teddy Turner in relief came on, did not retire anybody in the 6th inning. He took the loss to fall to 3-2. The other game in that Pool B or Bracket 2, or the bottom half of the bracket, or that second set of 4 teams, whatever you want to call it, was won by Wisconsin Lacrosse by the score of 7-3 over Salisbury. So Salisbury comes in, obviously they've been to the championships before. They've been here last year, for example, but things look a little bit new, a little bit different for them this year. And Lacrosse is a team and a program that's never been here before.
Salisbury comes in with a unique situation. The players have been here before, but the head coach has not. Recently hired coach
Troy Brohan.
Troy Brohan is coming out, and he wasn't with the team last year. So he's relatively new to this, but I don't think that made a difference. I think that Salisbury did not play their type of game, and lacrosse just, they won it from the beginning.
One of the things that I thought was interesting about this game is I watched lacrosse come back and win those two games against Co in the Midwest Regional Final. The bottom three guys in the order, these are, and even Shane Adler, who's the number 6 guy, these are all guys who hit, I think, below 300, and Buxton, Verstegen, Zahowski, Batch, all hitting below 270. But they combined for, 4 hits, 4 runs batted in on Friday night, and they were really the difference.
They really were, and anytime you come to a situation, you're going to have unlikely heroes. And you got to be able to recognize when a person's going to be making a contribution. So you really got to give a credit to Chris Schwartz to sit there and have his lineup built to succeed.
And they did. They, of course, 7 runs on 9 hits. Brett Kalachi pitched pretty well for Salisbury. His defense let him down a little bit. 2 unearned runs in the second, 6 runs on the night, 4 earned in 8 innings. And Ben Shaka, boy, he was just untouchable. I mean, actually, literally untouchable. He struck out 4 in a row at one point, struck out 7 out of 9 en route to going 7 innings and striking out 9.
Every time I put my head up, I was seeing another batter strike out. And I'm saying, well, this is remnant of another game I saw today. But I'm looking at the totals, and the totals don't look as high. So they really spread out the strikeouts, and it really kept Salisbury off balance all game long.
Yeah, he did end up walking 6. He walked back-to-back batters in, should have notes in front of me that would tell me these things, but you can read the game story, which is on the website already. I believe it was, where are we, in the 4th inning, yeah. And then walked back-to-back batters with 2 outs, loaded the bases, and then it was Salisbury first baseman Kyle Goodwin, who'd had a couple good swings on Shaka already, ended up the night 2 for 4, went deep into the at-bat, but Shaka got Goodwin to ground out sharply to third base to end the threat.
And you could also say that the balls really didn't fall the Salisbury's way. They had a couple calls that go against them.
Yeah.
And so it
one that should not have if you saw the replay.
So it really made an impact. And I think that we're probably going to see a very different Salisbury team tomorrow.
So Salisbury tomorrow will face Trinity, Texas, but we have one more game to talk about, and that was back in Pool A, Bracket 1, top half of the bracket, where Cortland getting off on the right foot once again. They defeated Webster 12-4. 5th straight time that the Red Dragons have won their opening game here at the Division III World Series. And, I talked about how many times that this program has been here without winning the championship. Obviously, this year the road to the championship is just a little bit longer because there's a best-of-3 championship series at the end. But they got off to a good start here.
It really is. Seth LaMotta sat there and he tied his career high in strikeouts, and he's not even the best pitcher that Cortland has. Coach Brown looked at matchups and said, "This is our guy," and he certainly made the right call on.
Lamando improves to 6-0. Yeah, he struck out 11, walked just 1 in 7 1/3 innings. Josh Fleming takes the loss for Webster. He falls to 7-3. So coming up on Saturday, so this is Pool A, Bracket 1. The elimination game is between Webster and Ramapo, and then Frostburg State and Cortland State will play in the winners bracket in that pool. On the other side, it will be Salisbury University and Trinity University, Trinity, Texas. I don't know if you just tuned in halfway through the video for some reason and thought that it was Trinity College from Connecticut because they're here on an occasional basis. No, it's Trinity University of Texas making their first appearance. They will face Salisbury in an elimination game. That's our 3rd game of the day on Saturday. And then the winners bracket game in that bracket on Saturday night will be Emory against Wisconsin Lacrosse. So I'm glad I'm not broadcasting that game because it's Eagles versus Eagles, but should be I think we still have 4 really interesting games tomorrow. I don't think anybody proved themselves, showed that they didn't necessarily belong here at the World Series, and sometimes you see that on day 1.
I think what we have here is we got some teams have been here before, some teams have not, and it really didn't matter if you were here before in terms of winning. Some of the newcomers won, some of the old guys won. So it really was a mix and match. But I really think that of the best game, Cortland State had it. They were pitching well, they were playing good defense, and they were certainly hitting the ball with 19 hits.
So tune in tomorrow. Of course, there'll be full coverage all day long on d3baseball.com. read our 4 game stories from Friday. Also, we'll have a Frostburg State pitching feature coming up on a Saturday morning for you guys to read as well. So we'll have full coverage throughout the entire 75 days of the 2015 Division III Baseball World Series. For Jim Dixon, I'm Pat Coleman, and we'll have more coverage from Wisconsin.